guys, what's up and welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, I'm gonna hop on this trend where we talk about some of the ugliest makeup palettes out there. I was inspired by Theresa's Dead, Smoky Glow, and 90s Lovechild. 90s Lovechild actually created this trend, and then Smoky Glow did it, and Theresa's Dead has done it. And I will link all three channels down below, but I saw this tag and I was like, oh my God, like, I could sit here and talk shit about ugly makeup palettes. Like, that'd be so much fun. So you guys want to see what palettes I find that are ugly and what my thoughts are, well then definitely keep on watching. So today I went with like a completely different look. I actually tried doing a fall look today. I actually really like how it came out. I think it's really pretty. I used the Aurora Alta Eager palette to create this look today right here. And then I tried going with like a vampy lip. So hopefully you guys like how this looks. If you guys want to see a tutorial on this, please let me know in the comments below. It did take me quite a bit because I tried to be as like thorough as possible and blend as best as possible. And it's so weird to see me with like a dark lip and to not wear a lip like this, and it's like mattified, it's not gloss either, so I feel like it's really beautiful. I feel like it's just in time for the fall season. So if you guys want to see this, let me know in the comments below. I just want to go ahead and start off this video and say thank you so much to Theresa's Dead, Smoky Glow, and 90s Lovechild for the inspiration of today's video. And I am gonna put like a quick disclaimer, guys. I just want to let you know that just because I find this palette to be ugly does not take away from you. If you love the palette, if the palette is pretty to you, that's amazing. We are both allowed to have two completely different opinions, so please respect mine. I completely respect yours. This is not meant to be offensive whatsoever. These are just my thoughts, and at the end of the day, guys, it is just makeup, and we're just here just to have fun. No shade towards any brand, no shade towards any product out there whatsoever. This is just me looking at a product going, ooh, that was kind of ugly. So with that said, let's go ahead and jump into today's video. So the first palette is the Kat Von D Saint and Sinner palette. Now I didn't put this palette in here because it's Kat Von D. No, I put this palette in here because I thought this was such an ugly palette. Like literally when it first came out a couple years ago, I always looked at it and I was like, I don't get the color scheme. It's just literally all over the place. When I saw Rob D. Christie's review on it, she talked about how she didn't understand the color scheme. She didn't like the aesthetics of it. And I look at it now and I'm still like, I just don't get it. I don't get the color scheme of it. I don't get the design of it. I mean, I guess it can be like a cool little like design, but it's just one that didn't captivate my attention. And I just couldn't get over the color blocking. I couldn't get over how they laid it out. Like who looked at it and was like, that's the perfect layout. Like I literally look at it all the time and I'm like, I don't see it. I know one of my good friends, she's obsessed with this though. She thinks it's a great palette. And I'm sure the quality is amazing. I wouldn't know, I never got it, but I'll never get over how ugly this palette is. And this is probably what inspired me to want to do this video as well, because I watched all three of their videos and there are some crossovers. Like there are some palettes that I found just to be just as ugly as they did. But for the majority of my palettes, I tried to not include what they had included in their videos to make it kind of more diverse. But yeah, I had to put the Saint and Sinner one in there because I couldn't get over how ugly it was. Next we have the Kesha Rose palette. Guys, I just found this palette to be so ugly. Now, I'm sure, again, the quality is really good. It's Hip Dot, and I love Hip Dot. I think their palettes are actually really great. But when I saw this color scheme, the design of it, I'm like, it doesn't make sense. Like, when you think of Kesha Rose, you do think of, like, colorful, creative, artistry, and somewhat messy. And yes, Kesha is kind of messy. And I guess that would make sense for the messy part when it comes to this palette. But I just didn't understand the color scheme, the layout. The layout is just so weird. I couldn't wrap my head around the layout and the aesthetics of it. It's just the packaging was ugly, the inside's ugly, and I'm just like, oh. That was like such like an easy pass for me when I did like my anti-haul. I was like, no way, because I couldn't get over how ugly I thought it was, and there's just no way that I could have gotten the palette and be like, oh my God, this is the most best thing ever. Like I knew I couldn't because I couldn't get over how ugly it was, so I never actually got it. But I'm sure it's great, and I'm sure people who love Kesha Rose love this palette, but I just know that no. Okay, so next we have the BH Cosmetics Mini Zodiac Palette Series. Now they did quite a lot. Now, they based it off their main Zodiac palette, which is actually a really cool palette. I liked how they incorporate all the Zodiacs to create a really uniform palette. I thought it was great. I loved it. And then they start coming out with all the minis. And they did the minis. I was like, what is this? How they determine the color scheme for the horoscopes is something that I'll never understand. They put some really ugly ass colors for these. Like Aries was like this red, orange color. Scorpio was like these muted browns, and I want to pick, why didn't you like look at like the theming of the month? So like Pisces, for example, falls in March. So maybe you could have done like a green palette for that. Scorpio falls in the time of like the fall season. So you could have done like some yellows, oranges, burgundies, like kind of go along this season that they're in. And they completely just butchered it. They completely just butchered it 100%. And they didn't even follow like the color scheme whatsoever. And I just couldn't get over how ugly they were. And I don't even think all of them are on sale anymore. I think they did kind of like discontinue them. I believe so. There might be some still available, but I'm just not 100% sure. Like Aquarius, they made it kind of blue. Kind of makes sense. Maybe Aquarius should have been, that falls around Valentine's Day. Could have been like the red palette. I don't know. Or maybe they try to go off the color scheme, like your water symbol. Like if you're a water symbol, fire symbol, earth symbol, whatever they try to do. I don't know, but they were just so ugly. And they were such big palettes with such little square pan sizes with a big highlighter in the middle. And that's just something that I always stared at and was like, I just don't get it. I don't get it. You guys literally had something great. You wanted to take it and run with it with a sequel, and you just butchered the hell out of it. It's, you know, it's why I hate when movies constantly do sequels. Like, you know, I know people wanted them to do like a Bridesmaid too. And I know Kristen Wiig talked about how, no, because we don't want to ruin it. There's so many times that you have such a great movie, they'll do like a sequel to it, and then it just gets ruined. That is this right here. That is what BH Cosmetics did. They took something great and made a shitty product after that. Just, no. I saw those and I was like, no way. Okay, so next we have the Manny MUA X Morphe face palette. Now, I saw this when it came out. I happened to be at the Florida Mall when it came out. I stopped by Morphe and I looked at it and I was like, I think it's so ugly. Like the packaging itself is just plain boring, ugly. And it's kind of weird because Manny is very creative. I love Lunar Beauty. He comes up with such amazing designs for his own brand, and this is what they came up with, Morphe. And I'm like, Manny, you're a very colorful person. Why did you create that? Maybe he was saving what he really wanted to do for like a neutral palette for his own brand, which I completely get. But the one that he did with Morphe is just so ugly, just the packaging alone. And then you go the inside colors, they're just literally just plain new colors. Now, I know there are people out there who truly do love the palette, and hey, props to you. I just don't like neutral palettes to begin with, and when I saw the color scheme, I was still not impressed. And then when I received it in a BoxyCharm months ago, I looked at it and I was like, I don't get it. I don't get the appeal of this palette. It just was not aesthetically pleasing outside to inside, and I never even tested the palette. I ended up just like giving it away because I just knew I'd never use it. And I love Manny, and I really wanted the best for him, and this just palette was just not his thing. It was not Gorga. All right, so the next palette is from Dose of Colors, and it's their Hidden Treasure palette. Now, when I first got accepted into the PR with BoxyCharm, I was told I was going to be getting this palette. Never did, and I didn't even care about that. Because when I saw the layout, I was like, this just doesn't make sense. Like, it doesn't make sense. Like, it's literally just all over the place. I have random shadows just laid out in the palette. Nothing's cohesive. Nothing really flows. And what they could have done to really improve this palette is maybe they had it laid out like that. They could have made it like a treasure hunt palette. Like they could have had it been like where you see like little like feet marks, like little, like, you know, you'll see those like little lines, little dots that lead up to Hidden Treasure. They could put like X marks a spot for like the #1 shade they wanted to like represent, or they could put like a little highlighter in there. X marks a spot and all the little shadows leading up to it. That would have been really cool, and that would have been like a really great concept for Hidden Treasure. This just was squares of garbage. That's what it was. It doesn't even like show anything about Hidden Treasure. There's nothing about this palette that screams Hidden Treasure whatsoever. And I really do love Dose of Colors. I really like their formula. They have such cute little aesthetic little like 5-pan palettes, which are really cute. And this was not it. I would love to meet Dose of Colors one time, but can I just ask you guys, like, what made you guys think that was going to be a hit? Because clearly it wasn't. And that's why you guys went and put it in BoxyCharm, because y'all really couldn't sell it. So I hope they never make that mistake again. And if they were to ever come up with this concept, please just make it like a Murata's map, like Harry Potter, and like lead to stuff. That'd actually be really cool. Then I can get over the color scheme. Shadows alone look pretty basic and ugly to me to begin with. But then to have the packaging not match, they really, really could have done so much with this, and they dropped the ball on that one. Okay, so next we have this palette, like this little Polly Pocket palette that I saw from Hot Topic. I didn't even know that Hot Topic did like makeup palettes, and it just looks like kid makeup. This looks like the type of makeup that I would go into Walmart, pick up for a little kid, and give it to them for Christmas. Like, here you go, here's your first makeup palette, enjoy! That is what this screams to me. This does not scream, you know, nostalgia to me whatsoever. There's some weird like brush in the middle. The colors are kind of okay, kind of maybe match Polly Pocket, but like the little doll that they have pictured, she's just creepy. Like, she's just super creepy. And it just doesn't scream Polly Pocket to me. And I want to be like, did y'all even have a Polly Pocket growing up? I don't know. I don't even know how Hot Topic quality makeup is. I don't know if it's good quality, great quality, bad quality. I honestly don't know. I've never tried anything from Hot Topic. I actually never really shopped Hot Topic. I haven't shopped at Hot Topic since I was like, I don't know, 15 in my emo goth phase, when I would just do black liner and overlined brown lips with clear gloss, thinking I was the shit. Literally looking back at my high school photos, I'm like, ew, why did I think just black liner? No mascara. I didn't wear mascara, just black liner that is smudged out, and either like dry, crusty freaking lips, or just a clear gloss, or I'd make it even better and do overlined brown lip liner lips with a clear gloss in the middle. Y'all, I looked at my photos before, and I looked at my parents, and I was like, why? Like, why did you let me leave the house like that? Like, I wasn't even introduced to mascara until I was in 12th grade. And then when I was in 12th grade, I was like, eyeliner, what? And I just wore mascara, nothing else. And I used the Compact CoverGirl Powder Foundation. That was 2 shades too dark for me. Maybe one day I'll recreate my high school makeup for you guys, so you guys can really see how shitty it was. And that's why I didn't have a boyfriend for the majority of my high school, because I was ugly as shit and I had no fucking tits. And I still don't really have any tits. That never came in. So maybe one day. I turned 30. My mom always said, just wait till you get over. They're going to come in. Well, you know, I'm 30. Are these girls going to stop being the head of the itty bitty titty committee? I'd really like to not be the founder for it. That'd be great. The Nightmare Before Christmas Oogie Boogie eyeshadow palette. It does retail for $16.90. Now, when you think of Nightmare Before Christmas, you think of like really dark, Christmassy colors, a little bit of mix of Halloween in there, because, you know, he's all about being Santa and whatnot. And then when you think of the Oogie Boogie, you think of like this big, giant, green, potato sack filled with worms creature. So when you think of that, you think this is going to be like a green palette with like some blacks and some grays, maybe some silver. Like, that would be the aesthetic for the Oogie Boogie. And then when you open it up and you're like, the fuck? This is just orange. Has like shade of orange, one black, and the rest are neutral with a pink in there. How does that scream Oogie Boogie? Like, have they not seen Nightmare Before Christmas? I literally saw this palette and I was like, who created this? They must seriously have not watched the movie to create that type of scheme. Because when I've gone to the Disney's After Dark Villain event and they have the Oogie Boogie there, they throw a lot of green stuff in there, a lot of silver, black, maybe some purple to really represent him. And this just does not represent him whatsoever. Maybe this would be like the color scheme for the mayor. That would be more the mayor's palette, not the Oogie Boogie. They completely disrespected him when I saw this palette. I was like, oh shit, they must never have seen Oogie Boogie. Maybe I should contact Hot Topic and be like, can I just buy you guys the movie so you guys can watch it, so you guys know what he actually looks like? Because this is a diss. Okay, so next we have this Too Faced 2019 holiday collection, and it is their Christmas Star eyeshadow palette. I saw this last year in person, and I almost thought about picking it up, and then I actually like played with it, and you had to open it up, and it's like this weird contraption where it has like all these like triangle with like too much space in between them, and then like a face palette on the side. And it was like such a weird holding palette that I was just like, who would buy this? Like, it just didn't scream holiday. It kind of like, it didn't scream holiday to me. And yeah, they tried to do like a star shape, but then like they did like this Christmas tree palette at the same time. And I don't know, I thought the design was all over the place. I did not agree with the color scheme. If you're gonna do like a Christmas tree palette or like a Christmas star, for the love of God, make it greens, reds, golds, silvers, maybe a pop of blue. They literally made it just a neutral palette. Like, this does not scream Christmas to me whatsoever. It was poorly designed and really awkward to carry. Like, no one would want to travel with that. And you know, Too Faced always comes up with like the weirdest holiday collections, one that I'll never ever understand. But I saw that last year and I was like, oh God, no. Okay, so next we have the Madison beer collaboration with Morphe Cosmetics. Now, I said this in my anti-haul. I did not want to get this palette because, again, it's just a neutral palette. Morphe literally is becoming known as a brand that only creates palettes with influencers. They do not create their own aesthetics anymore. They used to come out with their own palettes, but I swear to God, the more and more that they are releasing stuff, the more it's in a collaboration with some influencer one way or another. And it's kind of getting a little overrated personally, just because I feel like whenever there's an influencer collab with it, you expect to have a certain you have a certain expectation for it. And Madison Beer, I've seen a lot of her stuff on TikTok and just over social media overall, and she wears a lot of like purple. I always see purple associated with her. So when I saw this palette, I was like, this is just a neutral palette with like a white packaging, very, very basic, very plain Jane, and one that I found to be rather boring and rather ugly, and I feel like they could have done so much more for her, made it more vibrant, and I just don't get it. I don't get the appeal. I don't get the need to ever just want to collab with every single influencer in the world. I don't know if that's how they make their brand grow. I don't know, but this was such a plain Jane palette, and all these shades you guys can literally find in all their previous Morphe palettes. Like, I swear, she didn't even pick anything. They just literally just, oh, pick that from like this palette, pick that from that palette, and just put it all into one. Like, no, no. Okay, so next, and then this is where I might get some hate, is the Makeup Revolution X Friends collection. I was really excited when I found out that they were doing like a whole Friends collection. I love the show Friends. I grew up on the show Friends. I'm a 90s child, and I was so excited to see how it was going to turn out, what type of colors are going to have inside of there, and then they were like released it, and that's the color scheme. And I was like, oh, it's just very... It didn't scream Friends, I guess. Maybe I would want to see more, like, I want to see some bright yellows to represent the, like, frame around the door. Maybe purple for the door, coffee shop colors. I mean, yeah, they have some of the neutral stuff in there. And I like how they literally have every single shade named after somebody. But Phoebe should be very, very bright and vibrant. She's a bright orange, but I feel like she's just more colorful than that. And they made Rachel very muted. She's just a bright character as well. I don't know. It just screamed very neutral and basic. I do like how they have the highlighters in there. It's a cool concept. I just feel like it wasn't delivered properly. I like how they have a lot of shades, but it just wasn't a wowing palette to begin with when I saw the color scheme. I wanted more, I don't know, maybe I wanted more of like a 90s vibe, like a Friends 90 vibe. I feel like that'd been really cool. Really threw it back, really throw it back to what the 90s people grew up with watching Friends. Make it more like aesthetically pleasing. I don't know. It just did not scream Friends to me whatsoever. If I never saw the outside packaging, I never would know this was a Friends palette. Unless I read the names. That's it. Okay, so next we have the Haas Laboratory Lady Gaga Stupid Love palette. When this came out last year, I thought it was just a stupid looking palette. Lady Gaga is just, she's known for her color. She's known for her weirdness, her creativity, her artistry. She's known for being so far out there that she's on a whole different level, and people love her for it. Like, seriously. So when I saw this palette, I was like, damn, this is so muted. There's so many blues, very little transitional shades, and a pop of white. And I was like, I expected her to come out with like, almost like a rainbow palette, almost, but maybe very creative. This was just so far muted and neutral for her that it just didn't make sense to me. I never would have thought this was Lady Gaga, because she just is known for like her bright aesthetics, her creativity, and this just screamed plain Jane, and it did not scream Lady Gaga whatsoever. And when I saw that last year, I was like, damn, I was so disappointed. I really wanted to get it. I really wanted to get it when I saw the outside packaging. I was like, ooh, Stupid Love, like this would be so good. And then I saw it and I was like, what is this? Lady Gaga, what is this? This is not you. You are so like vibrant as a person, and this is so muted. It just dulled her out. And I saw that palette and I was like, that's an easy pass for me. It just never screamed Lady Gaga to me, and I just thought it was ugly all around. Sorry if you guys are Lady Gaga lovers, sorry. Okay, so next, the reason why I have this in here, it's the Makeup Geek Cosmetics like full spectrum like rainbow palette that they have. Like, they created like a color wheel palette, which I think is really cool. I really love the concept that you can create your own palette. Like you can literally buy all the individual pan sizes, have a magnetic palette, and create the best palette that fits you. And I think that is fantastic. But the ones that they had preset, it didn't make sense to me. Like this palette is so expensive. I think this one was like $100 and something. I remember Makeup Geek is actually really expensive, and they're starting to be in Target, which I think that's really cool. But when I saw the aesthetics of it at this palette, I was like, I don't get it. Like it didn't scream like a color wheel. The colors are so dark. They're very cool tone palette that it just didn't scream vibrant and colorful to me. And when I saw it, I was like, I could never invest the money in this. It's just not aesthetically pleasing to the eye, at least the color shades, the packaging's whatever. But the color scheme itself, I was like, oh God, no, this is what they picked for like a color wheel. I feel like they could have done a lot better. I feel like they could have done like some bright colors leading into some some warm colors leading into some cool tone colors to really make it a versatile palette. It was just too muted for me. I had to pass. Okay, so next is palettes from RCL Beauty 101. When I saw these last year, I was like, I don't get the concept. Now, I think the color scheme isn't horrible for like the bright one, but there's just too much empty space between each shadow for the price point. Like they literally left empty spaces. They could have done so much more, made that packed full of spaces and charged same price, maybe just a little bit more. They left it too empty for me that I was like, this is just stupid. And I'm sorry, but I just thought it was so stupid. And it's just not really like travel. I mean, you can travel with it because it's small size, but it's a triangle, so it wouldn't really fit however you pack it in a makeup bag or whatnot. And I never gave it a try because I was just so turned off by the packaging and like so much space in the palette for what they're charging that I was like, yeah, no. Okay, so this one right here got me really freaking heated. So if you guys don't know, I love Glamlite Cosmetics with a passion. They're literally one of my favorite brands right there with ColourPop and with Milk Cosmetics. I love them so much. I tell you guys that all the time. So I was really disappointed when I saw a video with Jeffree Star talking about how Glamlite was creating a whole Cheeto palette, and then Forever 21, being the dipshits that they are, came waltzing right on in and stealing their entire collection and idea. So they came up with like this cheap ass Cheeto Flamin' Hot X Riley Rose eyeshadow palette, which one doesn't look like freaking Cheetos. Only 4 shadows in here scream Cheetos, and it's the shimmer yellow and then 3 matte on top. Like the blue and like the gold. How does that scream Cheeto? Have they never seen Cheetos before? Like, what Cheeto do you know that's blue? Because please introduce me to that. But I was so pissed off because they literally found out that Glamlite was doing this and they went and stole their concept. So Glamlite never ended up releasing their palette. And I know for a fact Glamlite would have created a bomb-ass palette that was probably going to be full of like oranges, golds, red, maybe a little bit of, maybe like a pop of green for like the jalapeno one that they have, like the really spicy one. And Forever 21 just stole that right from them. But it is what it is because, you know, I think their company's like bankrupt now and like they're going under. You know, karma is a bitch. Maybe you shouldn't be stealing people's designs and coming out with some cheap ass shit. And then, yeah, that really made me mad because I love Glamlite and they're such an indie brand and they're trying to grow. And Forever 21 is like known worldwide and they just stole that concept and it was such a shitty thing to do. And I actually stopped going to Forever 21 after that because I was like, screw you guys. That was shitty. Okay, so this next one I actually talked about in makeup that I regret buying, and it is the Conspiracy palette with Jeffree Star Cosmetics. Now, I will say this until I'm blue in the face. Jeffree Star Cosmetics has some of the best quality makeup products out there. Like, literally, their eyeshadows are to die for. They blend it beautifully. They're so pigmented. The shimmers are something out of this world. Jeffree Star Cosmetics has some great products. Whether you guys like Jeffree Star as a person, that's beside the point. His makeup alone, it's damn good makeup. So obviously, everybody watched the whole series with Jeffree Star and Shane Dawson, and everybody, like, just at that point had to get their hands on this palette. Myself included. I was so drawn in. Even though I knew the color scheme wasn't that pretty, wasn't something that I was drawn for, I had to get it for, like, a collector's purpose and whatnot. But I bought that palette, and I only used it once since then. Now, I did just do a video, like, 2 weeks ago of using makeup products that I regret buying, and I did use that palette. The quality's great, but the color scheme is still so damn ugly. It just does not make sense. I do not like the color scheme whatsoever in the way it's laid out, and I don't know. And then the mini controversy palette is just as ugly. Like, there are such ugly colors, and I'm pissed at myself for going into the hype and buying the damn palette. Now, granted, it did bring me some lovely subscribers, so hey. But the color scheme is just so ugly. It's just so ugly. It's just such an ugly palette. Like the outside, it's pretty cool. I like the outside packaging, but the inside, it's so ugly. I'll never understand it. Like I couldn't even, it is so hard for me to create a look because I'm staring at it the whole time going, I don't even know what to do because it's just so like thrown in there. Maybe they laid it out differently. Maybe it'd be a prettier aesthetic looking palette, but the way it's laid out now, I'm like, oh God, it's just so ugly. I don't even know what to do with it. I don't even know where my mini controversy palette is. I think I did something with it and I don't remember what I did, but that shit's missing. Is what it is. I'm not sad about it. Okay, so next we have this Urban Decay, the Party Favor Moon Dust palette that came out in 2019. Y'all, what is that? What is that? Is that like a 70s looking palette, the Party Favor, the way they have it designed? It's so ugly. Like, it's so ugly. You know, Urban Decay isn't really known for their aesthetically pleasing palettes. Now, the only palette that I love from Urban Decay is their Honey palette. Oh my God, that is such a good palette. It's so good. But every other palette I've seen, I'm like, God, like who like comes up with this? Like when I saw this Party Favor one, I was like, did you like, I don't know, talk to a child and said, let's create something fun? Or did you go and paint and you just like threw something in there? Like that's how this comes off. And it was just so ugly. Not only their shadows are all the shimmer shadows very muted, like completely muted. But then you have like, when you open the inside, it has like stars. Like you're looking at like a galaxy type of stars. And then just weird star repetition on top of Party Favor. It just looks so stupid. It looks so stupid, and I didn't see one person talk about it. Not one. Okay, so next we have the Morphe Bronze palette. Now, I bought this palette thinking it was going to be so cool. I did a review on it, and I hated it. There were so many shimmers, very little mattes, and the shades were all so similar to each other. And I felt like you can find these shades in other Morphe palettes, and I just feel like I really wasted my money. I actually ended up giving that palette away, and my video is still up there. I hate the video, but it was just a muted palette. I thought the shimmers would have more pop. They're very, very cool toned, very diluted, and it just was not an aesthetically pleasing palette. I don't know who convinced me to buy it. It was some influencer that I watched, shocker, convinced me to buy it, and then I was like, damn, this sucks. So I saw that, and it was, I wish I would have known. See, this is why I need to stop doing like online shopping sometimes. I need to go see it in person. I feel like I would have saw it in person, I'd have been like, oh bitch, no, like, no. But yeah, that was not a good palette. And I actually got some hate for hating that palette, by the way. In my comment section, I got hate. Bitch, you hate this palette. You suck. Like, because I didn't like a palette, I got some hate. If you guys don't know, I do get PR from Benefit Cosmetics. And last year, they created a Party Like a Flock Star palette. It's like a face palette. They should just stick to bronzers, highlighters, and brows. They really shouldn't dive into eyeshadow palettes because one, the shadows are very boring. There's too much space. And it's like a weird, like it's like a weird oldie palette. That's what it looks like. It has like some flamingos on it. And it's like Party Like a Flock Star. Like, who comes up with the names? I don't know. I saw that last year and I was like, this is just ugly. Like, who would buy this? I didn't even like look at it twice when I saw it posted on Trend Moves page like last July, whatever. And yeah, I just thought this was just such an ugly palette. Like, there's just too much space. It has some weird like base palette in there, and Benefit, just stick to what you know best. Try not to venture. Okay, so this came out last year. This is from Tarte. This is the Adeline Morin collaboration with Tarte Cosmetics, and I'm really sorry if I'm saying this wrong, but it's like their Lemonade palette, and I heard good things about this palette. I never tried it myself just because I didn't really care for the color scheme. When I think of Lemonade, I think of just yellow. Like if you look at the Midas Cosmetics Lemonade palette, like that's a Lemonade palette. That is gorgeous. This had too many dark browns, a deep like red in there, and like 2 highlighters and blush. It didn't scream Lemonade to me whatsoever, and I think I saw this palette get decluttered in a lot of videos. No one really kept it. The design on the outside is pretty basic, but the inside just didn't scream Lemonade. And I've seen some really cool like Lemonade palettes. Like I said, Midas Cosmetics has some of the great Lemonade palettes. Like that's what I think of Lemonade, is just yellows. I don't think of like oranges and reds. That just doesn't make sense to me. So I thought the whole concept was just done completely wrong, and that was just an ugly palette. Oh my god, I feel like this is gonna be such a long video. I'm so sorry. Okay, so next we have this Remix Natural Eyeshadow Palette from Tarte Cosmetics. What is that? What is that? Who created this? Like, what concept is this for? Like, the outside packaging is just splotch of paint. Looks so stupid. And then the inside is just all shimmers. Like, I don't know what they were thinking. I don't know if these are just leftover shades from previous palettes that they just threw into this. I don't know, but it looks like someone just threw up this palette. Like, look. And this palette fell out. Like, that's what this looks like to me. It is so ugly, so hideous. And I saw that last year and I laughed so hard. And I was like, who would buy this? Like, this is just like a child's palette. This looks like a child's palette. Like the beginner makeup, first makeup palette. Here you go. Bring this one with the Polly Pocket palette and y'all can have a good time together. But this was just no. Tarte, they don't make the prettiest palettes sometimes, I swear. I can't believe I'm saying this, but it is true. It's another Jeffree Star Cosmetic palette, and it's the Alien palette. Now, granted, I'm extremely grateful that I had the palette. I got it last year in a mystery box, and I was just so freaking happy that I got it because it was discontinued. So I do have it for my collection. The shadows perform beautifully, and you can create some really beautiful looks with this. Trust me, I have seen it from James Charles, from Brianna, who goes by Lethal Kitten, or I think her channel is now Brianna, but they can create some really beautiful looks using this palette, which I tried to recreate. Fail. I'll link the video right up here for you guys. That was a fail. But looking at the palette, and the reason why I never picked it up myself is because I saw the color scheme and I was like, it's just ugly to me. It just didn't really make sense. There's barely any green. Jeffree Star Cosmetics never creates any green shades. It's so few and far between that you get any green. And when you think of Alien, you think of green. Pretty much you think of green. And there was like 3 shades. 3 shades of green in here. And the rest were like some muted yellows, neon colors, and then some dark grays, and one pop of purple and some whites. And it just didn't scream Alien to me whatsoever. And it just was not an aesthetically pleasing palette. Now, I won't take away from the performance. The performance is amazing, but the color scheme itself was just so ugly. And then the packaging, it was like a pink packaging with like these weird pushy eyeballs, and I just wish maybe that it wasn't pink. I wish it had been like green, because that'd have been like an alien. That'd have been so freaking cool. And it was pink. It just didn't really match the vibe of Alien whatsoever. But I do know that it's like a cult favorite, so I do apologize. Don't hate me for saying it, but it just really is just like an ugly palette. It really is. Okay, so next we have this Tarte Cosmetics, and it's the Pro Remix palette. Y'all, I got this palette twice this past year from some sort of box, and I have given it away every single time. I don't get the theme of it. I don't get it. It's like a 80s meets 90s just thrown up into one palette. The color scheme doesn't really match. It just feels like all leftover shadows from previous palettes just put into this, and it's just, frankly, it is just ugly. Now, I have seen this design and layout in their other palettes. There's actually like some neutral palettes that are really aesthetically pleasing with the same layout, but this just didn't even make sense. Like, didn't even make sense. If you're going to have the design of like black with like purples, pinks, and blues in there, maybe that's the color scheme you should have on the inside, but they don't. It just didn't make sense. It was such an ugly palette. I gave it away in 2 seconds. You guys are like, no. Try it out. No, I didn't want to waste it. Oh my God, I feel like I rambled on for so much. Okay, so the last one is actually from iHeart Revolution, and it's their like teddy bear palette collection. You guys requested me to review this a while back, and I never did because I just didn't find the palettes to be pleasing whatsoever. Like, you see like the teddy bear, but oh, okay, it's a like green teddy bear. It's gonna be green on the inside. Nope. It's not. It's like a different color scheme. I do really love iHeart Revolution. They have the donut palettes I actually really like, but they started creating all like these tasty palettes, and I got the chili, pizza, and avocado one, which do match the theme, but then they came out with like popcorn and chocolate and I don't know, anything and everything between that you guys think food related, they've created, like a coffee palette, and every single time I look at their color scheme, it never matches what you think of. Like, it just never matches it. Like, they completely will say, this is a raspberry palette, and they'll put all the greens in there. And I'm like, do you guys not understand what raspberry looks like? So when I saw the teddy bear stuff, I was like, no, they're doing the exact same thing. And sure enough, they did. They literally just with their like a gold teddy bear and have different colors on the inside. And just, they weren't pretty at all. And so when I saw those teddy bears, I tried to find a palette to review for you guys. I just couldn't get over the aesthetics of it whatsoever. I just didn't like the concept of it at all. It's such a big bulky packaging. I think I saw one in the store. It's like so like big and bulky, and then the color scheme on the inside was just super ugly. And though they have created some pretty palettes, most of them are just kind of like they're okay. Yeah, like I said, guys, this video is supposed to be an all good fun. Please do not be offended by any palette that I did not like or said was ugly. If you find it beautiful, if it works for you, that is amazing. I'm not trying to be offensive whatsoever. I'm just saying my opinion, and you know, it's the beauty of makeup. You know, we're all entitled to different opinions, and at the end of the day, it's just makeup. So please don't be offended, and I'm sorry if you are. But hopefully you guys like this video. I can't thank Theresa's Dead, Smoky Glow, and 90s Child enough for the idea of this video. I'll have all 3 videos linked down below. Go check them out. And yeah, if you guys want to see a tutorial on this, please let me know. This actually took me quite a while to try and do. And it's like a really pretty fall. Matching my background, actually. Just realized that. But yeah, guys, if you guys like this video, please give this video a cheeky thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you guys have not already, because I do post every day, every other day, just depending. Also, make sure you guys head on over to my other channel. It's All for Life. You guys can see my cool, wonderful adventures, amazing fiance Corey. And as always, guys, I want to thank you guys for all your love and support. I'll see you guys in tomorrow's video. Bye. What's up and welcome back to my channel. No, it's so awkward saying that. Don't ask why. Okay. Now, if you guys don't know, I am an affiliate bought with now is the Kat Von D Saint and Sinner. Theresa's Dead is Did It. This, you just have random squares of pans. You just have random pan squares. The screams hidden part. There's nothing about this palette. Okay, next we have the Kesha. Hey guys, what's up and welcome back to my channel. So I talk so fast because the shadows alone just look really ugly to me. Basic Nightmare Before Christmas. Have they not seen some bright yellows for like represent the door frame, and then or the make it really aesthetically pleasing.